There is no if you build it, they will come. It's a complete fallacy. It's not true in the slightest. If you build it, they will not come unless you drive the traffic there. Hey, welcome to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. This is episode 145. I want to talk about my Meta Ads marketing funnel. Today, this episode is all about Meta Ads. And I know I've talked a lot about ads in the last several episodes, and it's the most common question I get from you guys as listeners as well, because it's the biggest learning curve for all of us, but also the biggest avenue and opportunity to find new customers and to grow an online business now more than ever. So it's definitely a hot topic and a topic I talk about a lot, and it's a linchpin and or like a cornerstone of how I have grown my own e-commerce store and how I support clients in growing their stores as well. And I want to talk about my Meta Ads marketing funnel today. This is a marketing funnel actually my clients get when I have a client who comes on board, and I give them a bit of a breakdown of my Meta Ads marketing funnel. And it's broken down by budget. So you could actually go back and listen to episode 139 as well. It'll be a good accompaniment to this episode about how to spend $15 per day on Meta or $150 per day on Meta or more. Like it sort of seemed like a good breakdown, like as far as the different strategies involved in those different ad spends. That episode 139, I encourage you to go and listen to. But it's also a good match with this episode because this episode is based off of that episode, but I've got it in visual form. Hey, what's the very next step for you in growing online? If you have an e-commerce store or you're looking for clients, you have a service-based business, you can reach out to me for one-on-one support on a project-by-project basis. I'm like an anti-agency, little mini agency on my own. I don't offer long retainer packages for brand new clients. I want you to feel confident. Well, in 2024, my revenue that came directly from email marketing was 36% of my whole revenue across the year. And my revenue for 2024 was increased 30% on 2023 results. So I'm definitely in a good position to support you. I have been told I'm the baby budget Facebook ads specialist because I can work with a very small daily budget or a large daily budget. It's really dependent on what you're looking for as a business and what your immediate goals are, that I can guide you on what is the best path towards success for your business. You can reach out to me at AussieOnlineGrowingOnShopify.com.au. In fact, you can actually put an appointment straight in my calendar. We can chat about your business for like 25 minutes about what struggles you're having, what your immediate goals are, kind of the stage of business you find yourself at. I'm really excited to have the potential to work with you. I encourage you to head to the website where you can book yourself a free discovery call and we can chat about how I can support your business in getting the results that you need to grow online next. And I'm not going to give you the visual exactly of what it looks like. This is for my clients to have as a resource for them in growing their businesses. But I am going to talk you through it and give you a bit of a breakdown of the different parts of it. So this episode may seem very similar to episode 139, but I hope it sort of reaffirms for you and encourages you in the fact that you can win on Meta with a small budget per day or a large budget per day. It really depends on your business goals and what you're looking to achieve, the stage of business you are at, and also the time you have to invest. Because now more than ever, we need to be creating more content than ever. Meta needs more content from all of us. I talk about this in every episode. It makes me want to cry every time because I'm not a content creator, but you probably aren't either. But this is the world we're in. And I have no love-hate relationship with Meta. I don't love Meta, but Meta is where my customers are, and Meta finds them for me, and Meta will find them for you as well. So this is not about me loving Meta or loving to create content, because I don't, but that's where success is in 2025. That's where our customers are. That's where your customers can be found to grow your business. We need to get on board with that. That's sort of really all there is to it. If you want to grow online in 2025 with your Shopify store, Meta is where it's at. My little graphic I've got that I'm going to kind of go through with you. Let me have a look and skim it and see. I might split it by day. Let's do that by daily spend. $15 per day ad spend. Spending $15 per day ad spend. The foundation you need for this to work. If you want to spend $15 per day on your ads for Meta, you can. But the strategy you need behind that to even make that work for you is you need strong SEO. So you should be doing blog posts often, a heap of organic social media. You should be posting on your organic social media twice a day, once a day, bare bones minimum once a day, 30 posts a month to do. Twice a day would be better. And you need robust email campaigns and flows. So you need to have your flows set up in Klaviyo, and you need to be sending some regular emails as campaigns or standalone campaigns in order to make the most of this $15 a day you want to spend on Meta. Should I go to the next one, or should I jump across? Let me think. I'll jump across. I want you to see the difference. I'm going to jump across because if I look at $150 per day, like I said, that's like the floor. This other strategy, it could be $1,500 a day. But if you want to spend $150 per day, the foundation you need to come at this strategy with as a business owner is you still need email flows. You'll definitely be wanting them because they'll be getting a lot of revenue for you with all that traffic you're driving. You need strong email flows. You need a pop-up. You should be segmenting your list in email more as well. So you should be more targeted with the types of people you are emailing and what you're emailing them. Plus, you should have some sorts of apps or widgets on your website as far as bundles or upsells, like gamify it in some way. Gamify your cart, gamify the shopping experience in some way to get your average order value up, because you're going to want to keep your cost per purchase in check. One thing with Meta, in fact, the only thing with Meta, this might be one of the most important principles in Meta. I really need you to understand. If you struggle with understanding Meta and how it works and you get frustrated with it, when you have a small budget, you can get a certain amount of results with that small budget, and the data comes through gradually. You can get the same success with the large budget, but the data comes through a lot faster. You get results quicker, customers quicker, orders quicker, ads fatigue quicker, things that are doing well show themselves quicker. Spending a small budget per day means that is protracted over a much longer period of time. What happens though as well is with a small budget, when you go to scale, the ROAS will change, the return on ad spend. I see a lot of brand new businesses, and I did this in the early days as well. And if I was spending $50 a day on my ads and I was getting one sale a day, I was like, beauty, I'll spend $1,000 a day and get 20 sales a day. That would be a match. I need to do a smaller amount. I'm going to get myself confused with maths here. If I'm spending $50 a day on my ads and getting one sale a day, and I thought, great, I'll spend $300 tomorrow and get 6 sales. That probably won't happen because ROAS drops the bigger budget you spend. Meta takes a larger chunk of that purchase and that user when you're asking it to grow your business and scale it to crazy heights, if that's what you're looking to do. The cost per result or the cost per purchase you can manage as a small business owner with your margins at $50 a day ad spend. You'll need to do some work on your margins and your ads and test more ads to find better performing ads so that you can scale to a larger budget and still be profitable. Otherwise, what you may do, and what lots of advertisers do, is, and I've done it before, I've just thought I'll just spend double the amount and get double the results. But it's not linear. It's not linear. The more you spend, the ROAS will drop. But the payoff or the strategy, of course, behind that is as you become a bigger business, you sell more, your volume increases, you get better margins on your products, all that sort of stuff that is a little beyond me as a little 4.5-year-old business who still works from home, is you can manage that larger spend to Meta to find you the volume of customers. I would be happy to spend $50 on one customer when I'm spending a small amount. Maybe as I get bigger, I'd be happy for Meta to spend $53 to find me a customer if they can find me 10 of them. That's how it works. So in that sense, ROAS does drop over time. Spending $150 a day in ad spend, that's why things like upsells, in-cart upsells, bundles, free shipping thresholds, promotions, things like that become far more important because you're trying to reduce the cost per result on Meta by increasing your average order value. So it makes room for more budget on Meta. And the payoff is scaling. The payoff to that is volume of sales. The payoff to that is a big business big enough you can live off as opposed to a side hustle. That's the payoff. I know it's seen and talking about it. How is that possibly beneficial? Why would I ever want to do that? But that's actually the payoff is, of course, over time, your business grows and grows to a huge multi-million dollar company when you get those pieces right. And then you're spending thousands of dollars a day on Meta, but it's bringing in tens of thousands of dollars a day of customers. That's sort of the rationale behind it. Let's go through some other little points now. I'm realizing I'm almost halfway through this episode. Spending $15 per day, your goal, if you're going to spend $15 per day, is to build your email list. You want to get the awareness of your business into the online space. There is no if you build it, they will come. It's a complete fallacy. It's not true in the slightest. If you build it, they will not come unless you drive the traffic there, unless you pay to get people to your website. So the goal you are looking at spending $15 per day is to build your email list to get the awareness of your business into the online space. You want to grow your website traffic. You want to grow your sales in small amounts. It's not very scalable, but it's where you start. $150 per day, your goal is to get online sales consistently and work towards getting an online business that can scale and grow to become your main income. Now let's look at audience. That's the next category. The audience for a $15 per day is a tighter, smaller audience. So you might define your audience that you're going to target by age, or by interest or location. You want to give Meta some guidelines when you're going to spend $15 per day. But if you're spending $150 per day, then your audience, you should 100% be leaning into Advantage Plus shopping. In fact, you want to spend at least half your budget a day on Advantage Plus shopping. You want to make sure you're excluding different groups as well so that you're pushing Meta towards cold traffic as well as evaluating the traffic and the spend. You want to see that spend often and make sure you're checking in on what Meta is doing and where Meta is spending that budget. But 80% of your budget will go to top of funnel. If you're spending $15, if you're spending $150 per day on ads, then spend at least 80% of that budget on top of funnel traffic. People who are discovering you for the first time or on the very periphery of even having heard you before or know about you or have seen an ad in some time in the last month from you. You want to lean into top of funnel traffic for the majority of that budget because that's where growth comes from. That's how more people learn about who you are online. If I look at the next category, I've got an optional here because I love talking about this type of campaign. In fact, I do this campaign in all my clients' accounts as well, is viewed content. If you're going to give Meta your money and you want high quality traffic, high quality users to come to your website, when they come to your website, they get caught up in your retargeting audience because they're now a warm user. So when you go and retarget them with a different ad or a different campaign, they've been to your website or they've engaged with your socials, they now sort of land in that engaged group of users and get targeted again with another ad. Also, those users may sign up to your email list because they've been to your website. Meta also might target them, but maybe they went to your website and then saw your pop-up and decided to join your email list and then got a coupon code, or now they're just in your engaged segment in Klaviyo. All of those things are amazing. My favorite thing to do is a viewed content campaign on Meta for like $5 a day up to $15 a day, depending what your daily spend is. Only if though, only if you can check the quality of that traffic by looking in Google Analytics. You can still do it without looking in Google Analytics. And if you're at the stage of warming your pixel, that still makes sense because you're just trying to get data through your pixel. So you're trying to give Meta some signals as to who your ideal customers are. So it's a valuable thing to do even if you haven't got GA4. But if you do have GA4, 100% go look at the metrics inside GA4 and see the quality of traffic that Meta is driving with that specific campaign to your website. See what they're doing. How long are they on your website? How many pages or events and things that they click around on? What percentage of that traffic is engaged users and what percentage is junky traffic users? All of that data is amazing and it will qualify to you whether that viewed content campaign is worth running or not running. I have mine running all the time. I always have a viewed content campaign running. At the moment, I have my brand video in my viewed content campaign. And for two of my clients, I have a viewed content campaign running as well. And I can see in Google Analytics or GA4 the quality of that traffic. For another client, it's a brand new pixel. So I'm not so much worried about looking at the quality of that traffic in so much as I'm looking at getting signals on that pixel and signals to Meta of who my clients' ideal customers are, which is why I'm running a view content campaign. I love those sorts of campaigns. I think they're great. Can get you really cheap traffic, but highly qualified traffic, not junky traffic. The next thing I want to talk about is the number of creatives. This might also be your barrier as far as helping you decide if you're at the stage of business whether you can afford to spend $15 a day at the moment or $150 a day. Is how much time you have to dedicate towards creative. If you're going to spend $15 a day on your ads, then you could have 3 or 5 creatives live at any one time that are turned on, running, collecting data, and then leave them for 7 days without touching them, and then start some new ones or roll in some new ones. If you're spending $150 a day, you want to have 10 creatives at least every 2 weeks. So like 20 a month. And that's depending how they perform, of course. If they all fall off a cliff and tank, you're going to need to have another 10 ready to go. But that's not likely to happen. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But you want to have 10 live and be working towards getting the 10 next ones built. So like 5 images or 5 videos. That's an easy split. 5 images, 5 videos. And you want to have 10 of those new ones every 2 weeks. You want to lean into winning creatives by scaling them and also by creating new content, like changing up the hook, changing the caption, changing the start of the video. If it's a video, changing the hook for a new hook, or changing the image in some way, or recreating it in some way. When you've got that many creatives running as well, if you're spending $150 per day, you will see opportunities to scale in that daily budget. And that's when you can lean into scaling. You can up your budget by like 15% every 3 or 4 days, depending how aggressive you're happy to be and the risk tolerance you have, because then you need to let the campaign sit there and kind of find its level again and balance out before you scale it again. But if you wait too long, you could scale it and it doesn't go anywhere. This is one of the like almost one of the parts of Meta that's quite intuitive and tactile as well as data driven, is kind of the feel of like when to scale it and by how much for how long, because you can miss the window to scale it. You can miss the window and then you feel like it, and then you can scale an ad and feel like it's kind of already petered out and you sort of think, I missed it. I should have scaled it a week ago. That takes time to do that. So if you did scale an ad that was doing well and it suddenly fell off the cliff and tanked, that might just mean that you sort of missed the window and you left it too long before you scaled it. Or maybe you had that ad all on its own and it had no supporting ads, so it burnt out really fast. So keep an ad that's performing well with ads that aren't performing well, and not aren't performing well. It's a better way of saying that. If you have a campaign built out and you're spending $150 per day and you've got 5 ads inside it, no, way more. 15 ads. You're running 15 ads for $150 per day. And 2 ads are doing really well. They're getting you lots of purchases, but the cost for each purchase is a bit too high for you or really too high for you. But the whole campaign spend is still okay. Like the whole budget spend across the whole campaign of $150 is still profitable for you. Don't turn off those ads that are spending all the money and costing you a lot for each new customer, because all of the ads are playing their part. They're all playing their part together. And the ads that are spending lots and getting you lots of new customers, even if they're expensive, are probably reaching heaps of users. So the reach and frequency will be just perfect. In other words, the reach is really high. Meta loves the ad. Meta is sending it to everybody. So the reach is huge. And the frequency might be hovering around like 1.5, 1.8, just not bad. Keep it going because it's doing its job of finding lots of brand new users. And then the other ads that aren't getting as much spend and maybe not even any purchases that you can see are sort of supporting that ad. So as long as the whole spend of $150 is profitable for you, keep it going. Don't get rid of lots of ads inside there and start turning them all off. And then you end up with one ad in the end and you're like back to square one. What you want to do is keep rolling in new ads and keep that momentum going. Keep the engine burning, like keep stoking that fire with Meta. Keep stoking the fire rather than continually like pulling out the logs and letting it peter down smaller and smaller and smaller. To scale it, you need to keep stoking it and you need to keep leaning into results that aren't ideal for the payoff that the whole campaign is doing well and you're getting sales all the time. I feel like this episode is a bit what's the word? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm sorry if I've jumped between two completely different areas with this episode, talking about spending $15 per day and how you make that work versus $150 per day and how you make that work. I hope this is giving some value to you in understanding like where you sit as an advertiser. Where do you sit as a small business owner for your own business? Do you see yourself starting some ads next month? Book a discovery call with me. Let me look after your ads for a month for you. Let's spend $15 per day and make that work. Or are you running ads at the moment? Or would you like to and you've got money to spend, you just haven't got the time in your life to do this work, but you understand the value of advertising and you've got a budget and you want to spend $150 per day and just get cranking. Get customers, get moving. Maybe you're with an agency that you've just finished up with and you weren't happy.
You
And
sort of thought you found your traffic just fell off a cliff. If you were with an agency and you stopped, then your traffic may have just fallen off a cliff. That absolutely can happen. And you may be well sort of like of the understanding or convinced, and you know the ads is the way you get traffic back again. But how do you do that? How do you do that? How much do you spend? How do you find success with that? Like reach out to me for a discovery call if you want to chat through that for your own e-commerce store. If you don't want to DIY the solutions I share for yourself, if you haven't got the time or the energy in your week to do this sort of work, which is intensive work, like it is not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination, please reach out to me. Let me support you for a month. I don't do retainer packages. When you're a brand new client, you can just work with me for a month so you don't have to continue on. I want you to feel confident in the data I get for you and confident that you can take the reins back for yourself if you want to, because I would strongly encourage you to. I love it when clients do that. I have clients who work with me month on month. They've stayed with me for a long time. I'm so grateful for them. This is how I have the time in my life to do a podcast for you guys. But if you want to DIY this for yourself, you had an agency, someone was looking after ads for you and then stopped, then you saw results fall off a cliff once they stopped and you don't know how to get that back. I hope this episode has given you some insight, some options for you, some strategies you can try or explore or consider, or an avenue for you to reach out to me to chat about this for your own business and see what works for you and what suits you based on the stage your business is at and the amount you want to be spending per day and the results you're looking to achieve. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode of the Online Growing on Shopify.com.au. As always, keep learning.